Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Reading a man's mind ain't about no crystal ball. You don't need tarot cards and you don't need a psychology degree. What you need is to pay attention to how that man is texting you. When it comes to figuring out what a man really feels about you, one of the easiest places to look is right in front of you. His response time. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe he's busy, or maybe he's not good at texting. But let me tell you something. A man who wants you, a man who is genuinely interested in you, will make time. The speed at which he responds, the urgency in his fingers when he's texting you back, that says a whole lot more than the actual words sometimes. It speaks to his mindset, his priorities, and how much energy he's willing to give to the relationship or the potential of one. When a man is excited about a woman, he doesn't just sit around thinking, oh, I'll get to her message later. No, that man is looking at his phone like it's a direct line to his happiness. He sees your name pop up and it sparks something. He's not thinking, let me wait an hour or two. He's thinking, let me talk to her right now. Because that's what men do when they care. They respond, they engage. They make their presence felt even through something as simple as a text message. Now let's talk real. If you're constantly staring at your phone, waiting for that man to text you back, checking it every 5 minutes just to see if those 3 little dots are moving, baby, that is already your answer. If he's consistently taking hours, sometimes even days to reply, and you know he's got that phone in his hand all day long, posting stories, liking pictures, and sharing memes, you are not on his priority list. Harsh? Maybe. But it's the truth. Let me flip it for you. Think about a man you really like. You want to talk to him, right? You check your phone for his name. You feel a little spark when you see his message. You want to reply fast because it matters to you. That's what effort looks like. That's what interest feels like. So if you're doing that and he's not, the balance is off. And love, real love, doesn't live in imbalance. Sometimes a woman will say, but he told me he's just not a phone person. That's fine. Not everyone likes texting. But don't be fooled. People make exceptions for who they want. You might not be a morning person, but you'd get up early if Beyonce called you for coffee. The point is, when someone wants to connect with you, they don't make excuses, they make time. So when a man is genuinely into you, even if he's not a big texter, he'll still find a way to say something, to reach out, to acknowledge your presence in his life. It may not be paragraphs, but it'll be consistent. You'll feel seen. On the other hand, if you're getting replies like, yay, okay, or cool, 5 hours after you send a heartfelt message or a funny meme, he's not busy. He's just not prioritizing you. And there's a difference between being busy and being unavailable. A man who is busy still finds moments. A man who is unavailable is just choosing not to make room for you. Pay close attention to patterns. Does he only text late at night when he's bored or lonely? Does he suddenly reply super fast when he wants something from you, but disappear the rest of the time? That's not interest, that's convenience. If you are just a filler for his empty time, it will show in how long he takes to acknowledge you. But when a man values you, you won't be waiting. He'll want you to know you matter. He'll reach out not just because he has to, but because he wants to. That difference is everything. You should never have to guess where you stand with a man. His response time is a reflection of his respect for your time. When a man is truly interested, communication is not a chore, it's a joy. And that joy shows up in the little things like a quick reply, a good morning message, or just a simple check-in during the day. When he makes you feel like you're a priority, not an afterthought, that's when you know his intentions are real. Don't read his words, read his timing. Because the clock doesn't lie, and neither does effort. Consistency is where the truth lives. When it comes to understanding a man's intentions through his texting habits, you have to look past the sweet words, past a good morning text he sends once a week, and past a one-time deep conversation that had you thinking he was different. Don't get caught up in the high moments. Look at the pattern, because consistency, or the lack of it, is what tells you everything you need to know. A man who is serious about you, who values your presence in his life, will be consistent in how he communicates. He's not going to be hot one day and cold the next. He's not going to text you 10 times in one day and then disappear for a week like you don't exist. That's not interest, that's emotional confusion. And trust me, when a man really wants something, especially when it's a woman he sees value in, he doesn't play games. He stays present. He stays connected. He shows up. And he shows up consistently. It's easy to get excited over a man who blows up your phone for 3 days straight, makes you feel like you're the center of his universe, and then vanishes without explanation. But that's not romance. That's instability. That's someone who wants attention, not connection. You can't build anything solid with a man whose energy is always shifting. You'll never know where you stand, and you'll constantly find yourself doubting your own worth, wondering what you did wrong, when the truth is you did nothing. He's just inconsistent. And inconsistency always reveals one thing: a lack of real intention. When a man is truly about you, he won't just be available when it's convenient. He won't hit you up only when he's bored, lonely, or looking for a quick fix. He'll be there in the mundane moments too. He'll text you after a long day just to check in. He'll remember to follow up on something you told him last week. He'll continue the conversation even when he's tired. Why? Because being connected to you matters to him. And that kind of consistency is never forced. It's natural when a man's heart is involved. And let me say this, it's not about how often he texts you. It's about how reliably he does it. You don't need a man texting you every hour. You need a man who doesn't disappear. You need someone whose presence you can depend on even in small ways. A good morning text every now and then is nice, but does he check in when he knows you're stressed? Does he follow through on things he said he'd do? Does he stay in touch without you having to beg for his attention? That's the real test. Too many women hold on to the memory of the early days, the flood of messages, the flirty emojis, the excitement. But consistency is about what happens after the spark. It's about what he does when the newness wears off. Does he still put in effort? Does he still reach out even when there's nothing exciting to say? That's when you know he's in it for the right reason. If a man is showing up regularly, if he's texting you with care and keeping the conversation alive even when life gets busy, that's a man who sees you. That's a man who understands that consistency is love's quiet cousin. It doesn't shout, but it speaks the truth every single day. And when you find that kind of effort, that kind of stable energy, don't second guess it, because in a world full of distractions and short attention spans, a man who chooses to show up for you over and over again is a man who's worth your time. But when a man goes from warm to distant, when he leaves you on read for days and comes back acting like nothing happened, when his communication is more like a guessing game, you have to pay attention, because inconsistency is not a phase, it's a pattern, and patterns tell you more than promises ever will. You don't need him to say he's serious, you need him to show it. Not once, not twice, but every time. You might think emojis are just silly little pictures, cute atoms that people throw into their messages without much thought. But the truth is, especially when it comes to texting between a man and a woman, emojis say a lot more than words sometimes. They are subtle emotional signals, tiny digital body language cues. And if you're paying close attention, the way a man uses emojis can tell you everything about how emotionally engaged he is or isn't. Let's start with this. Men don't generally use emojis just for fun the way some women do. For many men, especially the ones who aren't super expressive with their words, emojis become a tool. They use them to express feelings they might not be comfortable saying outright. So when a man starts using emojis consistently in your conversations, smiley faces, hearts, kissy faces, laughing emojis, even the wink, it's usually because he's trying to convey warmth, connection, or affection without having to spell it out. It's his way of adding emotion to a message that might otherwise sound flat. For example, when a man says good morning, that's not just politeness, that's a vibe. That little smile is his way of softening the message, showing care, creating intimacy. It's not just good morning, it's I'm thinking of you, and I want you to feel that. When he responds with a laughing emoji at something you said, he's not just saying that's funny. He's showing that he's engaged, present, and paying attention. These small gestures stack up. They create a tone, a rhythm in your communication, and that rhythm tells you where his heart is. Now, if a man never uses emojis, not even once, does it mean he's not into you? Not necessarily. Some men really aren't emoji people. But here's where the difference lies. Even if he's not using emojis, you'll still feel warmth and effort in his words if he's emotionally invested. But if the conversation is dry, cold, and totally void of any feeling or tone, yeah, that's a red flag. Because when a man likes you, he finds some way to express it. Emojis just happen to be an easy, low-pressure method that helps build connection without having to be too vulnerable too soon. On the flip side, there are men who throw in the occasional heart eye emoji or send a flirty gift once in a while and suddenly go cold. Be careful with that. Some guys use emojis like bait. They know exactly what kind of emotional reaction those little hearts and smirks will trigger. So they sprinkle them in just enough to keep you hoping, to keep you emotionally hooked, while not actually offering real consistency or emotional depth. That's why you don't just look at if he's using emojis, but how often, when, and with what kind of messages. Does it feel natural or calculated? Does it feel affectionate or manipulative? Emojis aren't meant to carry the whole conversation, but when a man uses them with intention, When he adds a heart to something sweet he says or a wink to something playful, he's inviting you to read between the lines. He's letting his guard down just a little. He's trying to show you in his own way that you matter. It's a small thing, but it comes from a place of emotional investment. The truth is, communication today isn't just about what people say, it's how they say it. And with so much of our daily connection happening over text, emojis have become part of the language. They're emotional punctuation marks. They bring color to otherwise black and white conversations. When a man is emotionally engaged, he uses everything available to connect with you. He doesn't hold back. He doesn't keep things robotic or cold. He finds ways, small, consistent ways, to let you know you're on his mind. And often that shows up as a little red heart at the end of his message, or a laughing face in response to your jokes, or even a goodnight text with a wink. Don't underestimate those little symbols. They might not say much, but when used genuinely, they speak volumes. In the world of texting, who initiates the conversation tells you a lot more than people realize. It's not just about who says hi first. It's about effort, interest, and emotional investment. When a man truly likes you, he's not going to sit around waiting for you to make the first move every time. He's going to want to talk to you. And that want, that desire to connect shows up in who reaches out first. Consistently, it might seem like a small thing, but when a man initiates the conversation, it tells you you're on his mind. It tells you he's not just responding to your energy, he's creating his own. He's not playing it cool, not waiting 3 days to reply and not holding back out of pride. He's stepping forward. That first message, that simple, hey, how are you, or I was thinking about you, is not just a text. It's a signal. It says, I see you, I want to talk to you, you matter. Now, if you find yourself always being the one to start the conversation every day, every time, without fail, you need to take a step back and ask yourself why. Because texting is a two-way street. And if you're doing all the reaching out while he's only responding, then he's not participating. He's just receiving. That's not how healthy interest works. A man who's genuinely interested won't just wait for you to chase him. He'll want to lead sometimes. He'll want to show you that he values your presence in his life without needing you to pull it out of him. Sometimes women convince themselves that maybe the guy is shy or maybe he's just not good at starting conversations. But let's be real. Men pursue what they want. If he can message his boys about a football game, post memes all over Instagram, and stay active online, he's got enough energy to send a quick message to the woman he claims to like. It doesn't have to be a novel, but it should be something. When a man doesn't even make the effort to initiate contact, it usually means he's not as invested as you are. There's also something powerful about a man who checks in without needing a reason. He's not just replying when you text him. He's not just waiting for a question to answer. He reaches out because he genuinely wants to know how your day was, what you're up to, what's on your mind. That kind of behavior isn't random. It's a reflection of how he feels. And when a man does that consistently, it shows you that his interest is real, not forced, not part-time, but steady and sincere. It's also important to notice the tone when he initiates. Is he asking real questions? Is he engaged? Or is he just dropping dry, vague weed messages late at night? Because not all initiation is created equal. Some men only reach out when they want something. usually attention, or worse, a hookup. So you've got to pay attention, not just to if he texts first, but why and how he does it. A man who texts first in the morning to say, have a good day, is sending a very different message than one who only hits you up at midnight with you up. When someone truly cares, they reach out because they feel connected to you. They want to maintain that connection, nurture it, protect it. So when a man is always waiting for you to speak first or only responds out of obligation, it's not a lack of confidence, it's a lack of intention. But when a man takes that first step without needing to push, without playing games, that's him showing you where you stand in his world. He's saying, I'm not just here when you call, I'm calling too. And that, in today's world of mixed signals and half-effort relationships, is a powerful thing to pay attention to. If you really want to know how much a man is into you, don't just count the number of texts he sends. Look at what's inside those texts. The real measure of a man's interest isn't in how often he messages you, but in what he says when he does, because surface level talk can only go so far. A man who's genuinely interested in you doesn't stay on the surface, he dives deeper. He doesn't just want to pass the time, he wants to get to know the layers of who you are. It all starts with the kind of questions he asks. Is he just asking, what are you doing every few hours without ever following up? Or is he digging deeper? Does he want to know about your dreams, your childhood, your fears, the things that make you laugh uncontrollably? A man who is emotionally invested will naturally be curious about your inner world. He won't be satisfied with quick replies or dry updates. He wants a window into your soul, not just a snapshot of your day. When a man starts to open up in conversation, that's a powerful sign too. He tells you about his life, not just the highlight reel, but the real stuff. He shares his goals, his past, his struggles. And when he feels safe enough to do that, it's because he sees something meaningful in the connection. Men don't usually expose vulnerability for no reason. When they do, it's because you're not just someone to talk to, you're someone they trust. Think about how the conversation flows. Is it back and forth and balanced? Are both of you contributing with energy and intention? Or is it one-sided with you doing all the emotional lifting while he stays vague and distant? If the conversation always circles back to shallow topics, what you ate, what you watching, what time you going to bed, without ever going deeper, it's a red flag. It means he's not putting in the effort to really understand you. And without that, there's no foundation for anything real. You'll also notice that men who are truly interested remember the small things. You might mention in passing that you've got an important meeting next week or that you love a certain book, and he brings it up days later. That's not coincidence. That's intention. That's a man who is listening not just to reply, but to connect. Because when a man is engaged with you on a deeper level, he doesn't let important details slip. He stores them, reflects on them, and uses them to build something meaningful with you. It's also about emotional energy. A man who is emotionally involved will mirror your mood. If you're having a bad day, he doesn't brush it off. He leans in. He checks in. He offers comfort, advice, or just his presence. That depth of emotional availability is rare, and it doesn't come from someone who's just texting to kill time. It comes from a man who sees value in the connection and who wants to grow it into something real. Don't be fooled by long conversations that go nowhere. If all he ever talks about is surface stuff, or if he keeps steering the topic toward flirting and physical attraction without ever wanting to know who you are underneath, then you're not in his heart, you're just in his moment. Real depth brings a different kind of intimacy. It builds emotional safety, and it creates the space for trust and honesty to grow. When a man is serious about you, he'll want to know your story. He'll want to hear about your pain, your passions, your purpose. And he'll share his too. The way a man talks to you says everything. When a man shows you that he's not afraid of deep, vulnerable, and meaningful conversation, that's when you know he's not just texting to pass time. He's texting to build something. And that something just might be love. One of the clearest signs of a man's true interest lies not just in what he says, but in when and how quickly he says it. The timing of his responses and the gaps between them tell you more than the words on the screen ever could. Because when someone genuinely values you, your messages don't get pushed to the bottom of their priorities. They respond with purpose. They respond with intention. They don't leave you hanging and make you feel like you're chasing something that's always slipping away. A man who is interested in you doesn't forget to reply. He doesn't go hours or even days without a word, only to pop up later with a dry excuse. When a man truly sees you as someone special, your texts matter to him. They don't sit unopened while he scrolls through social media, answers other people, or goes about his day like you're invisible. A delayed response every once in a while is normal. Life gets busy. But consistent gaps, frequent silence, and unread messages over and over again, that's not busyness, that's avoidance. That's him telling you, without saying it, that you're not a priority. Now, here's the thing. We all make time for what we care about, no matter how packed the schedule is. A man who is genuinely invested will find a way to check in, even if it's a quick, thoughtful message. Something as simple as, can't talk right now, but I'll text you later shows respect. It shows emotional maturity. It shows effort. But a man who disappears for hours, then reappears like nothing happened, is not investing in connection. He's playing convenience. You can also tell a lot from when he chooses to reach out. Does he only message you late at night when the day is done and he has nothing better to do? Are you his afterthought? Because a man who values your presence wants you in his daylight, not just in the shadows of his free time. He wants to talk to you when his mind is clear, when he's focused, not just when he's bored, lonely, or in need of validation. Timing is a reflection of priority. If you constantly see him active online, posting stories, liking photos, engaging with the world, but your message still sits there unanswered, it's a loud message of its own. You don't need to hear the words, "I'm not that into you," when his behavior is already shouting it. That said, response time isn't about playing games or expecting instant replies 24/7. This isn't about needing someone to be glued to their phone. It's about emotional presence. It's about someone making you feel acknowledged, even in small ways. A man who respects you, who's thinking about you, won't leave you in a cloud of doubt wondering if you did something wrong or if he's still interested. He'll make you feel secure, not second-guessing. The truth is, how fast someone responds and how often reveals where you stand in their life. A man who is emotionally engaged sees communication as a way to nurture connection. He won't delay it for sport. He won't ignore it to gain power. He'll use it to stay close to you, to keep the bond alive, to let you know you're on his mind, even when he's busy. And if a man is truly unavailable, whether due to work, family, or personal challenges, he'll let you know with honesty. He won't leave you confused. He'll communicate his absence with clarity and care, and then come back to you with presence and purpose. Because when a man wants to keep you in his life, he doesn't let too much time go by without reminding you that you matter. Timing isn't just about the clock, it's about the heart. When someone truly values you, they don't make you wait to feel seen.